Hi Tina, we are good friends. For the first advertisement we choose is an advertisement of Hanks. He is first played while the 2016 Super Bowl competition in America. His audience are mainly those who is watching the Super Bowl. He tries to sell their ketchup and the mustard to the audience from this advertisement. To describe the advertisement, there is a lot of dolls dressed like a hot dog and one on the grassland. There is a background music which is Without You by Mariah Carey. Then those dolls see a group of humans dressed like Hanks, ketchup and mustard, and they run to those humans. Finally, they meet each other happily. For the message of the advertisement, it is quite implicit actually. This advertisement does not directly introduce information to audience. For example, they haven't said anything about how tasty their products are, how popular they are, etc. The advertisement just shows the good relationship between people and the dog. At the same time, it is referring that there is also a good relationship between their products with hot dog or even other food. We can also see this from the songs Without You, as there is some lyrics such as I cannot live without you, showing that the importance of their products to the food. So, to conclude the message, it is just saying their products are really tasty and they are perfect match with other food.
Now we'll evaluate the first advertisement. According to the elaboration likelihood model, there are two different ways of information processing. One of them is called the peripheral route. This kind of information processing route focuses on the irrelevant and incidental cues, and relies on emotions or heuristics to process information. As it involves mental shortcut and does not require deep thinking, less effort is allowed in this route. While this route is used when recipients have little or no interest on the message and have little ability to process the information. Back to the advertisement, there are also several peripheral cues. First, the background music used in the advertisement is one of the best songs of Mariah Carey, named Without You. And it has a fascinating melody, and the second half of the song has a quick rhythm, which elicits a good mood. Second, the scene background is a big prairie and beautiful blue sky, which also arouses positive feelings. Third, some attractive sources can be found in the advertisement, such as those who dress up ketchup costumes and the dogs that dress up hot dog costumes. They are both adorable and can attract audience attentions. Last but not least, the advertisement is funny not only because of the ketchup and hot dog costumes, but also because of the song lyrics. I can't live if living is without you. It implies that the hot dogs and ketchup can never be separated. For those audience who have little interest and ability to think about this advertisement, those cues mentioned above activate their peripheral route of information processing so as to change their attitude.
There is not much direct description about the products in the advertisement, but they successfully use those contextual factors of the video to form a good image for their product or their brand. Their success is closely related to the priming effect. Research supports that the existence of one stimulus can influence how people perceive another stimulus. That means the contextual factors may influence how people perceive the product or the brand in the advertisement. Recent researchers also applied the priming effect in examining advertisements and consumers' behavior. There are two types of priming effects. The first one is cognitive priming effect, which means that when people exposed to a stimulus, it may let people activate some related thoughts and ideas. These thoughts can affect how people evaluate the product or the brand. In our case, the songs and the scenes that the dogs and the humans meet together actually may let people think about some positive thoughts and ideas related to love, relationship, and perfect match. Then they may associate this concept with their products that help form a positive evaluation. The second type of priming is affective priming effect. When people exposed to a stimulus, it may arouse some feeling in response to the stimulus. This feeling may also affect how people evaluate the product. In our advertisement, when you see those dogs, you may feel, oh, they are really cute. You may think that they are adorable. You may have some positive feeling about it. And when you see the costume of hot dog, ketchup, or the mustard, and then you think that it is really funny and interesting. Then when you look at the scenes that the dogs and the human meet together and the songs playing in the background, you may feel some kind of warm feeling. So this kind of positive feeling may also help form a positive image of the product. The advertisement is quite successful in making use the contextual factors and priming effects to form a good image. We can see the priming effects can let audience have positive thoughts and pleasant feeling towards the product, and this help form positive impression and evaluation about the product or even the brand. Especially our audience are usually taking peripheral routes while watching the advertisement. As we have mentioned before, it is a Super Bowl advertisement. Therefore, those audience may just want to watch the match rather than receiving too much information. They are just having a relaxing time. They are less motivated to use the central route. So we can see that according to the iSport TV, showing that this advertisement gained a great success, that it have 460k of views and 131k of social actions about the commercial. As we know that there is no much description and information about the message in the video, but it really aroused people's support in the society.
The second advertisement we've chosen is the Grammarly advert. It was from America in 2017, which aimed to promote the online proofreader Grammarly. The content of the advert was interviews about the feelings of people after using Grammarly. During the conversation, the functions and convenience of Grammarly was promoted. Most of the interviewees in the advert are educated people like college students or office workers. All of them highly recommend people to use Grammarly. I'll now evaluate the Grammarly advert. The target audience of the advert was native speakers who needs to write in computer. Why we say that is because the example mistakes shown in the advert were all careless mistakes or messing formal English and daily English. These mistakes are usually made by native speakers. There were both positive and negative effects from the advert. The positive effect is that it has built the concept of online proofreader to its audience. As online proofreader is a relatively new product, the company has to let people know what is an online proofreader and what does it do. The Grammarly advert has done a pretty good job on this, and it also built an image for Grammarly that is useful and a symbol of being academic and educated. But look at the negative side. Many audience found that the advert too hot to sell. From the YouTube comments, audience claims that the example mistakes were ridiculous. No one with a proper career will mess up your and your. These native speakers found Grammarly not useful.
This advertisement may provoke consumers' desire to change. social comparison may happen in advertising according to some research, as people usually compare themselves with others because they want to know if they are right and normal, and also they want to gain higher social status. Research mentioned that audiences usually compare the perceived self with some good image or the belief about what should they be that's expressed by the source showing in the advertisement. This may let them have the pursuit to the products in order to level down the gap between the perceived self and others. And also, the consumers always want to ensure that they are making right decisions. And the source sometimes provide them a standard for them to compare. To apply the concept of the social comparison into our advertisement, we can see that audience may perceive those in the advertisement can write with good grammar. They will perceive them as well educated and smart. However, those audience may perceive themselves as inferior as they always make grammatical mistake. Therefore, upward comparison is formed, and they want to narrow down the gap between they and the persons in the video. They may have the desire to improve their grammatical accuracy and believe is needed to become accurate in grammar in order to level the gap. Therefore, some audience may be persuaded to buy the product.
Just now we've mentioned peripheral route, one of the information processing routes, while the other route is the central route. This route processes information based on relevant contents, and it deeply processes the contents of the message and focuses on the quality of argument. Thus, more cognitive effort is needed. This route is used when recipients have enough motivation and ability to process the message. While in the Grammarly advertisement, there are lots of central cues that we can find. First, in the advertisement, many advantages of using Grammarly has been mentioned, such as it can make your writing better, it catches all those embarrassing mistakes, help writing papers or resume, and it can be used across different situations. Also, the functions of Grammarly have been pointed out. For example, it corrects everything you write, corrects spelling or grammar errors, and suggests right words to use. Moreover, some other information about Grammarly were mentioned, such as it is free and it is the best tool by far. For those audience who are analytical and concerned about Grammarly and have the ability to think deeply about this advertisement, they will use central route to process the cues mentioned above, and therefore have an attitude change.
Central route is not the only route that audience may adopt while watching these advertisements. Peripheral routes may also be adopted rather than central routes in some situations. It just depends on the intention of the audience. For those who use peripheral routes, they use it because they are forced to view the advertisement in YouTube before watching some videos they like in YouTube. So their motivation to process the message may be low. They will look at other factors rather than the content of the message. They will look at some factors like the image that's presented in the commercials or some source factors related to the advertisement. Therefore, using which route and process what kind of information is just depends on intention of audience. It can vary a lot.
Talking about the source of product information, the Grammarly advert didn't describe them directly. In fact, their conversation tried to imply that they are educated people. For example, a girl said that as a college student, and another man said, I downloaded around my freshman year. However, this source is not effective, as the target audience of the advert should be native speakers who are college students or office workers. To these audiences, college interviewees are not English professionals. They are just ordinary people. Therefore, these comments from the advert does not have strong social influence. For the nature of the arguments, it was obviously strong, overt, and one-sided. First, the advert described Grammarly as the only choice. One of the interviewees said, "If you write anything on your computer, you need to get Grammarly." The persuasion were very overt. They didn't try to hide their thoughts of selling people. They simply said, "I'll recommend it to any person that I know." And advert was also one-sided. Everyone recommends Grammarly and no disadvantage was mentioned. This is not effective too, as we've said that these people are not professionals. The words are not that persuasive. It makes people feel forceful, which result in the feeling of hard sell. Finally, I would like to make a hypothesis of how the advert would change if it is targeting audience in different culture. If the advert was targeting non-native speakers who needs to write in English, for example, college student in other countries, we think that the example functions shown in the advert will change, from correcting careless mistakes to sentence building or dictionary, as these functions are what non-native speakers need. But the advert would probably keep the current persuasive style, because to non-native speakers, native speakers who is also a college student is already an English professional. Their words are powerful and persuasive. And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you.